Thank you guys for all the likes. If you guys could share out the broadcast, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, Reptiles, for sharing out. Kyle, thank you for sharing. Amy, thank you for sharing. Okay, everybody, welcome to Definitive Talk this week. So happy to have you guys here. Welcome. Everybody was early today, a good majority of you guys. Thank you so very much for the likes right off the bat. Let me just scroll up here. Reptiles, Harvey, Tristan, Caston, Kyles, and Amy as well. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you also for sharing out the broadcast. So tonight we have two guests. Two guests are going to be joining us. Our first guest is going to be Kyle, and we're just going to let that be a surprise for those that don't know what Kyle's content is. We're going to just let that be a surprise. I know I'm going to be definitely cringing when I see this because I don't like them, but that's okay. Also, the second half, we have Smiling Charlie. For those that have been here for any length of time, really, Smiling Charlie has been here. He's working towards his partnership, and he is also a producer here on the platform. So we're going to interview him, try to find out some of his opinions on some various topics, and pretty much just pick his brain and see what he thinks. So, how is everybody doing tonight? How is everybody? I know we didn't have any broadcasts today, just this one. Olivia, thank you for the 50. So, it's been a break. A nice little break today. Definitely needed it. Crazy Marcus, welcome. Hello, Olivia. So, how are you guys? I do thank people from the United Kingdom that are here, since it is 10 o'clock. You guys are awfully committed. So thank you so very much. Amy's doing good. All right. Well, let's get right into this. We're going to bring Kyle on, and the way I'm going to do this, because it's a little bit different than some of the other broadcasts we've done on Definitive Talk, we're going to bring Kyle in and we're going to interview him first, and then we're going to show you something else. So I'm sure you guys will like this. So let me check up here and here. Yep, he is in the queue. Now this has been the first person that's been in the queue. Alright, so we'll bring him in now. Hopefully everything will work fine. You know how there's always some problem, but hopefully it'll work fine. Oh, I just saw that, Kyle. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Awesome. All right. Everything is connected perfectly fine. Okay. How are you doing tonight?
I am lovely, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I had a nice, relaxing day today, for the most part.
Okay.
All right. I see you brought someone with you to do the interview with.
Oh yes, I'll be talking snakes, maybe interview or even as we go along. But one of the.
All right. Well, Kyle, let's start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself, the area you live, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay. So so I'm Kyle. I'm a reptile broadcaster on YouNow. I basically come on here every single day where I broadcast with my reptiles in hopes of raising a positive image for them and really spreading some really good positivity for the animals and showing how much of an impact they not only have on my life but also other people. I also cover things like news topics and things about snakes and animals, and I also do edutainment shows on my broadcast. The area I kind of live in is really nice and peaceful. I mean, there's I've got some hoodlums if you'd like, but it's other than that very peaceful. It's a nice scenic view from my place. It is an absolutely. I find my area very nice to live in. I love living up in the valleys because that's what we're called. It's not literally called the valleys. It's just what the entire area of this part of Wales is called. It's just called the valleys.
Okay. And for those that don't know, you are in England, right?
Wales.
Okay. Excuse me. So when did you decide you had this love for snakes and everything like that?
Well, growing up as a child, my idol and hero was a man, you may know him by the name of Steve Irwin.
Yes.
And he was my absolute idol as a child growing up. And I used to watch him every single day, whether it be on a video of some kind, the old VHS tapes, or even on a show on TV. And I loved animals all my life, but Steve really piqued my interest into the reptile world with his main attraction being alligators and crocodiles. And so my love grew from when I was about 3 or 4 years old. So then, as I grew older and older, I just kind of had more of an attention and a detail into the world of reptiles, and it grew and grew from there. But then it wasn't only until about a year or so ago that I was actually able to go out and buy my own animals, and I started with the snakes, which are absolutely incredible animals. And each day that I spend with them, even you can do any amount of research, the more time that you spend with them in person, as Steve would say, you get to know the animal each by person. Like, they have their own amazing personalities, and you can tell just how much of an individual beings that they are, as well as any other kind of living animal.
Now, did you go to school to learn how to work with these animals?
I did not. I actually, through school, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. I kind of just passed through the motions, doing usual schoolwork and all that kind of thing. And when I kind of left school, I just went straight into an apprenticeship to be a chef, because it was the only thing I was good at, was cooking, and I had a passion for it. So as soon as I left school, I went straight into being a chef, but the underlying passion and love that I had, not just for general animals, because I do love all walks of life, and even plants. It's not just animals. My love pertains to all living things on the planet. But I always had that want for an animal of some kind to take care of, and I kind of just, as I got older, I realised I had more and more of a chance to actually just even keep them as a pet kind of thing. But to me, same as a lot of people with dogs, to be honest, I don't see them as pets at this stage. But in terms of studying for them, like, I didn't go to college or anything. I left school. I went straight into a working background of being a chef. I was a chef for about 4 years. I'm currently not doing anything, but I'm actually trying to pursue running my own business. So I'm actually trying to start up and run my own business to do with the animals.
Mm-hmm. So you want to make this not only a hobby for yourself, but you want to make this actually your occupation.
Oh, definitely, most certainly. I mean, there's not enough experience or even any kind of jobs related to, not just in the reptile world, but also in the animal world in general, especially to do with where I live. It's so isolated from so many different places of work to do with animals that it was extremely hard for me to be able to access. And I have no means of being able to relocate or anything to do any work with them. So therefore, and since Sparse, I saw it as a very open opportunity for me to not only start something for myself, but also to provide opportunity for many, many others who share the same love and passion that I have.
All right. So if you couldn't run your business, start up a business like this, what would be the ultimate job that you would like to have if you couldn't do your own business?
I don't know. 'Cause, my thing is, I'm so predetermined that no matter how long it takes me, everything I see before me, whether it be a 10-year job, no matter what the stepping stones are in front, everything is just that, just a stepping stone. To me and my mindset, that is where I'm going, regardless of situation or barriers, anything like that. That is the only place I can see myself finishing my sort of work career, and just in general my life, is when I've done that, when I've achieved the fact of being able to open up my own shop, my own business, and just run it how I see fit, and be able to share. Again, it's all down to me just wanting to show these guys off and just show people that how amazing that they can actually be.
Right.
So for me, I mean, if it doesn't work out, I can more than happily be a chef, because I still do have that underlying passion for food. But it isn't my first choice.
Okay. So there had to be something that actually led you to this. I mean, because you could have any hobby whatsoever or any pet whatsoever. What attracted you to these particular animals?
Well, specifically reptiles, not just snakes, but reptiles in general, because I do love them all, and I am hopefully going to be obtaining some different variety of reptiles over the next few coming years. But for me, it was back to when I was just a child. I used to just ask for animal books, and the main thing I would ask for are things on snakes. I seem to find snakes and crocodiles in particular. And ever since I was about 3, 4, possibly even 5, I would just always ask from that point if I could have like some books and stuff, or just like, even if it was something as simple as like a little soft toy or a teddy or something just to do with snakes in general. But yes, reptiles kind of got it right there. It was their fault in a way as well. Reptiles is actually my partner. But yeah, because I'd moved out, what led me to actually start keeping them was the fact that I'd moved out of my parents' house, and we moved in together, and we decided, because we both had the love for snakes, to just get one.
Awesome. So now, the love that you have for them, you brought that here to YouNow. Now, how long have you been on YouNow?
Oh, you got a bit for me.
Okay, and did you do this type of content when you first started, when you came into the platform, or did you do something else and then switch to this?
No, what I found is with YouNow, I found I wanted to come on as a means for me to build up things such as my social anxiety, my struggles with speaking to people, one-on-one things, and just a general audience. That was the initial idea. Especially with the business I'm trying to attain, I would be doing many things, just running my own shop would require customer interaction, but also running a school entertainment service, and also for many other different like clubs, and also even into elderly folks' homes, just to go around and show people, and especially for those elderly, and just off example, for who couldn't get the opportunity to hold one perhaps before they were stuck in a home, we'd love to provide that opportunity now while they're a bit older and around, if they wish to fulfill that off their bucket list, off their dream, to just be able to go around and do it. And but yeah, that's where that came from. And it was also, as I've realised, as I'm going along, I'm still even learning now to be able to do it, but I'm also getting a very good schedule set in place very slowly. It is taking a work in progress, but I am filling my streams and broadcasts with certain topics and things allocated to different days and sections of the week. So for example, Wednesday will be I've only just started this as of yesterday, but it's now my animal guest day, where if anyone with any kind of animals would like to come on and show their amazing animals off, I ask them questions and also just enjoy them myself, and gives the audience a chance to see a variety of different other animals apart from the ones that I own. Then on things like a Friday, I do informative broadcasts where I'll put a lot of time and effort into making posters and things in order to give a educational talk, if you will, on the specific species and things that I own first of all, and then move on to also other various species as well. If you like, I can show you what I did past Friday.
Okay.
And because I can't invert my image, it takes me a lot of time as well, because I have to write all this backwards. So I have to do all this backwards. So as you can see, this is the kind of first thing I started off with. This was like the first one. My quality is getting a lot better from that point, because this is actually for tomorrow's broadcast, and I'm going to be covering ball pythons specifically. Now, again, I'm still learning to write backwards, to be honest. It's a bit of a curve, but I do enjoy it. I enjoy every second of it, and as I've said to my viewers as well, even if just one person watches me for that entire session, to me that is well over worth it, because it's just that one person extra who's getting the benefit and joy of seeing the animals and learning something in my mind. So yeah, that's how it was. And also I saw that no one else was doing it, what I'm currently doing as well, so I jumped on the opportunity to be, not necessarily, I know there's a YouTuber named Tyler Ruggie who occasionally comes on YouNow, but very occasionally. So I thought, okay, so I need to capitalize on what's here and what's being given to me, and make a social following, because that'll make it a lot more business value for a lot more attention to my business, and then also gives me a chance to develop myself and my own personal character as well.
Going back just a little bit, now you said you went into nursing homes.
Oh no, that is the plan, is to be able to do all that kind of stuff. I'm still in the very beginnings of setting up all this, because I've just come off a self-employment course where they'll teach you things like money flow charts and all this kind of stuff. They help you, and we will gain assistance and aids and things like how to advertise ourselves the best way we can. And I thought this, again, whilst I enjoy the personal interaction, the business planning side also thought of, oh, this is a good way for me to start gaining a good popularity following. And again, I'm not trying to see it as that, but I have also got to take into account that if I want to make this a living, I need to look at it both sides, as well as just the, I just enjoy people's company and all that kind of thing.
So, I know you've brought some with you. Obviously, you have this one. I'm gonna turn it over to you, and you can show us what you brought.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so this is actually Cleo. She's a ball python. She's actually a kingpin morph ball python, which actually very interestingly consists of only 2 genes. There are a lot of ball pythons out there with the genetics of about 4, 5, or even sometimes 6 different animals. All again, well, not animals, but different morphs, because you can actually change their pattern and colour dependent on the snakes that you breed them to. So Cleo here is actually derived from both a pinstripe and a lesser ball python. She's definitely one of the ambassadors and mascots into my stream, mainly for her really nice bright colour and her simple pattern. She's definitely one of the more popular animals I take out. A lot of people know Cleo, and again, she has one of the best colours. And the bit I love about Cleo the most, I love to show this off on every broadcast, but her eyes are absolutely stunning, because a lot of people don't see the fact that their eyes actually change colour based on their skin colour as well. So their eyes will actually change colour, because you can get what's known as a blue-eye leucistic, which is actually one of Cleo's genes, which is a lesser bred to a lesser, which creates a super blue-eyed leucistic, which means the snake comes out all white with only just blue eyes.
Now, clearly you know how to tell, but for someone like me who cannot stand snakes and, really I don't know a lot about them, how do you know which ones are poisonous? I mean, is it just knowledge, or is there markings on them that you would recognize?
Okay, so with a lot of them, you wouldn't know unless you were told. There are certain signs in that perhaps you could look out for, but a lot of it is down to just knowledge as well. You've kind of got to give yourself some form of understanding and knowledge into the reptile community and the reptile world. You have kind of, on some level, become a form of herpetologist, which is actually the name given to those who care for reptiles. So yeah, I mean, it is all about learning as you go, and you find out, because I have owned over my time with animals 2 venomous snakes, and that's the thing as well. Did you say poisonous?
Yes.
Yes. So I make a case of mentioning this on my broadcast when someone brings it up. So there's only apparently one known species of actually poisonous snake in the world. All the rest are actually venomous. I just like to make that difference and separation, because it is a very different thing to be poisonous and then venomous.
Now, is this particular snake, is this one dangerous at all?
No, not in any way. I've actually had it bite from Cleo, and I will say, as a disclaimer, number one, it was my fault. I never ever blame my animals for any bites I ever received. They are usually, I've only ever had 2 bites. One was off Cleo and one was off one in a shop that I purposely wanted to have. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but it was logical. And I'll go over that bit in just a second. But I've only ever had 2 venomous snakes, but even they weren't dangerous, not even to a level that even if they did bite, which they never did, it wouldn't cause us any major harm. It would probably cause enough to cause swelling to the affected area, but not enough to do any major harmful damage to us as human beings.
And there's a question, what is the biggest snake you have?
I will actually be showing Percy in just a minute.
Okay.
Percy will be coming out. He's about 6 foot long, as we know of. He's got to be at least 6 foot or bigger at this stage, but we know for a fact he's definitely a minimum of at least 6 foot at this stage. Because when we last measured him, which was a couple of months ago, well, actually it was last year. Last year, he was about 5'9" or 5'10". So
I couldn't do
be
it.
about 6 foot plus at this range. But by no means is that necessarily a large snake either, because he does have a fairly thin body for his size. Size is only relative to their weight as well as their length.
And what does this snake eat?
Well, they're all actually on different things, so dependent on the size of each animal will depend on their meals. I have got very baby hatchling corn snakes, all the way up to my big 6 foot carpet python. So they'll all eat an array of different sized mice or rats.
Okay.
So if we
chills.
to start from the corn snakes, you probably feed them something like a day old or even just a slightly older pinky mouse, what's known as a pinky, and they're only about this big. But at the moment they are eating tails because they have to be assist fed, because they won't eat on their own at the second, because they did come from a very small clutch that it's actually one that I bred personally from a male and a female corn snake that are now residents at my mum's house. All the way up to the carpet python, you'll get something like a large rat.
Gives me chills.
But yeah, so I mean, they are absolutely incredible, and I can, if I can be so quick, perhaps I could get a hatchling out to show you the comparison size to how small it actually starts off. Now, What you got to bear in mind is even though they're still hatchlings, it has grown quite a lot since hatchling day. So if are you going to get it out for me? Oh, brilliant! But by all means, and Cleo's probably my most expensive snake at the minute in my animals, in the group of animals. Like, if I don't like to say collection or pets because they're part of the family to me, except for the hatchlings, because I have no attachment to them because they're not considered as pets to me, because I'm either giving them to family or selling them.
Right.
So yeah, now if I put Cleo on the box, I've actually got, oops, getting out. There we go. So I've actually got 2 lots of the hatchlings, because the mum and father were different colours and morphs altogether. Then I've actually got 2 lots of different kinds of babies, which means that I've got both normal morph corn snakes and also the melanistic corn snake, which is actually a form of albinism, which basically shows. Oh, there we go. So that's a normal. If you turn it around, so as you can see, very different in colour. And being an albino, it just basically means that it loses any kind of dark pigment, and also especially the black kind of pigment. But mainly in corn snakes, there'll just be any kind of dark pigment whatsoever. But as you can see, it is very, very tiny at this stage. This is only a few months old, and it will grow to be fairly a little bit bigger, but not massive. Corn snakes are one of the best starter snakes in the industry that you can actually buy, because they're so calm. They're very, very tame. They're almost never ever aggressive. There's probably only a 0.1% chance they'll be aggressive over their life. But as you can see, the markings and colours are just very different. And again, even from the same clutch, no marking on any snake will be the same. And they'll be similar to their parents, funnily enough, in terms of pattern and shape, but never in exact pattern and colour.
I would still be afraid they get out.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, do you want to put that one away? Thank you. So I'm not going to be able to get them all out, because today we actually had a little mishap with one of the snakes, as we thought, as there's a now possibility that he may not be what he was sold as. So, as I would say, basically we bought what we thought at the time was a dwarf Burmese python. This isn't him, by the way. But when we asked for advice about something on to our local pet shop, because they're obviously professionals, and we wanted just a little bit of advice from something, and the man told us in the pet shop that at the time, oh no, I think we've actually got a mainland Burmese. Now, a mainland Burmese is one of those big ones. I don't know if you know. Oh, you're going to get burned? Yeah. You sure? Okay. So the mainland Burmese will actually get to about 15, 16 foot. They're those really big ones. Not necessarily the biggest ones, but they are those bigger ones. So now we've got to wait and see over the next few months to a year to see if this grows either to the same rate as a mainlander's or if it is a true super dwarf Burmese. Now the difference is they are cousins. But where the islands in the Indonesia area actually split up, they took these smaller islands and developed only smaller traits, as they only had a limited amount of food and also only a variable size of food.
And did you say they can get 15, 16 feet?
Yeah, that is definitely the average. There are a lot of Burmese pythons which get a lot bigger. There are bigger species such as reticulated pythons which get on average to about 18 foot, but there are bigger ones currently in captivity measuring 19, 20 or even 21 foot.
Jeez!
And they are the longest snakes, both Burmese and reticulated pythons, with reticulated being first. There's a misconception with the anacondas being the biggest, but they are actually just the heaviest form of snake. Rather than longest. They're not necessarily the longest, but they are definitely the heaviest on ratio to body length, because they are in the boa family. Now the boas are a very heavily bodied set of snakes. But as you can see, this is Percy, as I was saying earlier, and he's my 6 foot coastal carpet python. Now, Carpet pythons will love to just hang like this, more often than not, and this really gives them well development for their muscles, so I don't want anyone to be worried that I'm holding them this way. This is actually really good muscle development for them. It helps his climb and it gets his tail working. Because sometimes Percy in particular will just let his tail drop, and they're okay to do that, being a thick-bodied animal and having the adaptation. They are pretty sturdy under this, so they can take a pretty good fall before it would hurt them.
Now, I know different snakes hunt differently, so does this one squeeze?
Yeah, any snake that isn't any snake that is non-venomous will actually constrict its prey, whereas a venomous snake will actually bite the prey, wait for it to run off and die, and then follow the scent trail to the prey.
I would be terrified of that.
Of which?
Well, all of them, but this one, yeah, a little big.
I mean, Percy is definitely not very big for his species. Coastal carpet pythons, out of all the carpet python family, are the biggest, but he is by no means the biggest example of them, because the coastals can go as big as up to 9 foot.
Well, he's bigger than I am, so.
But he's also my tamest snake. I mean, I could do this, and it isn't going to bother him at all. So he tries to run away. He's not aggressive. He won't bite me, and I can do that. And I don't do this very often. I show it now and again, just to make a point that, again, he isn't aggressive, and it's just to show how safe that they can be when they're tamed down and you handle them regularly. And because he's used to this at this stage, because I used to do it a lot, he already knows that this is not to be reacted to, and he kind of just ignores it. If I do that, he escapes, but there you go, he just pulls away. And if I just do that, he kind of just goes a different way. He doesn't have any kind of nasty bite reaction to me or any other kind of grabby object in any way, shape or form. Because for those who don't know as well, we actually can't we can't feed live prey to our animals in the UK, as they're illegal. So we do feed them frozen thawed rats or mice.
Ew. Now, how strong is this one?
You can definitely feel his strength. I've had him actually wrap around my hand whilst he was constricting a prey item. Just so I can feel his weight. I had a hook in between my hand and his head, just in case as a precaution. But I personally wanted to feel the squeeze ratio. And it is a pretty strong squeeze, but that being said, he is a rather gentle giant for his size. Because I mean, I can do something like this and still be fully confident that it's not going to choke me out or anything. So he kind of lets go, but even when he holds on, I've still got plenty of airspace. I can breathe 100% perfectly fine. I don't ever worry about it at all. He gives me no reason to concern.
Like, okay, say hypothetically, he wrapped around you. And he wasn't going to stop. Is there a way to release them?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, I wouldn't recommend anything. The rule of thumb is, if you keep anything bigger than yourself, which Percy is definitely longer than me, you always try and make sure that you have someone else there on hand. Like my partner's just to the side of me now. They don't have to be like vigilant at all times, but they do have to be prepared to step in just in case the animal turns on a dime like that for any reason at all. So whenever I get the big ones out, my partner's usually here. Again, I trust him pretty much on my own, and I have taken him out on my own, but there is a safety precaution. But definitely never ever handle a 10+ foot animal on your own. That is a risk. Even if it can be puppy dog tame, always have a bystander if it's 10 foot plus, because at 10 foot plus they could easily overpower you and choke even the biggest man out.
Wow. I don't think I would
Again,
have...
that being said, in captivity, even the largest of snakes can be puppy dog tame, as long as they're around the right environment and everything, and they are also not being stressed out. But in the same situation, I actually had someone say, oh well, yeah, but sometimes they will get stressed out with people. at the end of the day, we all get stressed out by each other as well. You know, as long as you respect their space just as much as you would want to be respected, then they'll by all means respect yours.
Wow.
Think you want to swap? Okay, so I'm going to show you Bernie. So this is the one we're actually unsure on at the minute, but he's definitely one of the... If he... Right, there's the issue now of confirming whether or not he is a Burmese python. Because if he's a mainland Burmese, which is the ones that get to about 14, 15 or even 16 foot on average, then it is a bit of a problem for me. And unfortunately, while I would hate to see him go, I know for a fact that I personally couldn't keep him right now unless I had a shot ground, which I don't. Again, just starting off in the business, it was more of an intent of keeping him as a pet, especially since he was sold as a dwarf, because the dwarfs only max out at the biggest and at about 6 foot for a male, 8 foot for female, and Bernie by here is a male, so he'd only max out at about 6, 7 foot. So that was the intention of buying Bernie. So, but on the other hand, if he is a dwarf Burmese, a true dwarf, not only will I be able to keep him, but he's actually one of the more rarer species, not just in the hobby, but in general, in the entire snake kind of community, because it is super rare to get a 100% true dwarf Burmese, and they are worth 350 to 400 pounds in UK. So I don't know what the conversion rate would be, but at least about 400 pounds here.
Yeah, probably depends on the rate, but it's usually like $50-$60 difference.
Oh,
now you said if this snake wasn't what you thought it was, you would have needed what to keep it?
Well, we basically just need a bigger kind of space, which we could provide, but my house won't allow me. Like the tenancy agreement that I have won't allow me to keep anything bigger than either 9 or 10 foot, which is fair enough. I can understand that completely, and I can respect those guidelines. So that being said, if he's bigger, the only way, if he is a mainland, so the ones that grow bigger, I would have to keep him on a shop premises or in a bigger kind of space, because they do require a minimum space of 6 foot in length to a 3 foot height and a 3 foot in width kind of enclosure.
Okay.
But again, if he is a true dwarf, he will definitely, again, be the snake with the most value in my collection, kind of thing. Again, I don't like using that word, but it's just the easiest one I can come up with.
Right.
To just basically generalize them all. I'm going to show you the... Okay, so actually, just a comparison, my partner actually got bit, not yesterday, but the other day by Bernie. And again, it was down to us, it was down to her as a keeper, so it was more bleed. So that's actually where the bite is, that little dot there. And that was only after the other day. It goes away, because what I will say with snake bites is they're not only very quick, it's over in a second, but the pain on a scale of, like, say 1 to 10 is probably either a 3 or at very max a 4 for snakes of like all these sizes I've shown you right now, especially just a quick defensive bite. It doesn't hurt very much, and it doesn't hurt for very long. It's about a 1 or 2 seconds of pain, and that's about it.
Wow. Now, how did they get their food down?
So basically, what it is, all teeth in snakes, especially the ones that are non-venomous, have a lot more teeth, but especially pythons, they'll actually have 2 rows of teeth on the bottom and then 4 lots of rows of teeth on the top. So they'll have the initial outer lot, and then on the inner side they'll have an inner row of teeth as well, which all point backwards like hooks, and they're all serrated hooks, which means that they have kind of like fishing hook-like teeth, which as they're moving along, they'll kind of independently move each jaw forward over the prey like that. So as they're moving forward, the teeth just push it basically down the neck. And once it gets into the neck actually has a suck-like function, like a vacuum cleaner. And it actually brings it down into the first part of its body, which from that point it will use muscle memory to just work it down like that, just wiggle it down, and they use the muscles to just kind of shimmy it down like that.
Huh. Would not see me with one.
It is, to be fair, an absolute adrenaline rush to watch a snake eat, because, especially to feed, because I will mention that a snake can strike in literally a matter of about a 2-second window. It can hit like bang and it's done. It's got it. Especially Cleo, the first one I showed you, she's actually my best feeder. And I only have to open her door and she can smell her food so very well and instinctively that I open her door, she comes rushing out of her hide waiting for it ready. And that just shows how strong this keen sense of smell is. But as soon as that prey item, she waits until it's in the cage. She does no boundaries, she respects the boundaries. But as soon as it goes in the cage, it is hers. And she snatches that up, she bang, right on it. In about 2 seconds flat, bang, on coil, take down, and it's gone. Absolutely gone.
Now,
whether it be constriction or just pure snap of the neck, sometimes it can be that quick on the animal that it can just snap the neck. Which is a lot quicker than a constriction. But I will say as well, while I'm quickly going over it, a constriction will actually make them pass out before it kills them. So they pass out before anything else.
Now, do they know the difference between if it's alive or not?
Yes, sometimes. I mean, my pythons personally will only eat if the food itself is relatively warm. So I've actually got to heat them up a bit more than you would for, say, a colubrid species. Not all pythons are that picky, but they can be. But also as well, what I've found from personal keeping is that some pythons, especially the ball pythons, can even be so picky as the colour of the rat's fur can actually determine whether they'll eat the meal or not.
Wow.
Which I didn't actually know up until about a few months ago when I first started looking into why my ball python wasn't eating. And apparently he doesn't like just plain white. It has to be a mixed colour of a rat. So he doesn't like just plain white rats. So
once they feed, what's the length of time that will last them?
There's a general rule of thumb for most keepers. Generally, a lot of people will tell you, especially in forums and on care sheets, to leave them for about 2 days. But from, again, personal preference and also personal experience, I found, not just from high-end professional keepers and also shopkeepers, that they will happily hand them after just 1 day. And some people will even say just 12 hours. Because I found but what I personally go off is if there's no lump still visible in the bodies, they'll actually that's how you give them a good sized meal and how you determine what size they need to eat. If there's still a lump in the body when you go to handle them, then you leave them alone, so it means that they're still digesting.
Interesting.
As you can see, though, absolutely curious about everything. He just wants to get down and explore my living room at the minute. He's just constantly trying to get down. If I bring him closer to the camera, now, again, there's no need for any kind of jumps. They're very tame, all of them. Again, what I say was with the bites, it's all for keeper problems. It was just a basic misread in body language. And what happened with my partner was, Bernie was coming out of his cage and she snuck up behind him and just kind of surprised him. So out of shock, he jumped and went, oh, and just bit out of basic worry that he was going to be eaten. Because for all you she was a predator prepared to eat it. Because snakes, there are some snakes which will eat other snakes, for example, and also birds and other things. Even cats are starting to not get too picky and are eating snakes now as well, and also other lizards, which I actually just found out recently from a bit of news, especially in Australia. A lot of Australia's feral cats are actually eating and making a lot of snakes in Australia endangered at this rate.
I got a question. Do your snakes shed a lot of skin? And if so, what time of the year do they shed?
So they do shed basically everything from the tip of their nose right down to the tip of the tail. And it's not based off yearly things, it's based off more their growth rate. So they grow as they're growing, they'll shed as they grow. So as they get bigger and bigger, they'll kind of need to take one old skin off just because they're getting a bit too stretched for it. It'll stretch out, and so they'll need to take it off. But also, it'll get less and less frequent as they get older as well. So hatchlings, my hatchlings, they shed pretty much almost every month and a half to 2 months now at this rate, whereas the biggest ones, Percy and also George, will shed every 6 to 8 months and even longer than that at this rate, because they're just getting into their bigger stages of life, which means that they're going to shed almost once, maybe just twice a year at this rate. The time of year doesn't necessarily play a part. It does in the wild, but not in captivity, as we control their heat and also their food supply. So they have a steady source of food and heat and humidity, whereas if in the wild, that would vary so much from place to place that it would affect them then, but it is very different in the wild than it is in captivity.
Very interesting, very interesting.
And what I find interesting as well, personally, is they'll actually hibernate in the colder months of their respective countries as well. They will go through what's known as hibernation, which basically means they don't go to sleep. They kind of just slow their body clock right down really, really slowly, so they don't use hardly any calories or anything like that. They basically don't lose any weight. They can just stay stationary and use very minimal amount of moving, and they don't need to do any kind of feeding at all during the brumation months, just because they don't need to expend the energy anymore.
Wow. Does anybody in the audience have any questions for Kyle? I mean, it absolutely is fascinating. I just know I could not do it.
I'm sure if I was there personally, I've actually worked with a lot of people so far, just before I even started wanting to do the business, just helping people get over their fears. I've helped a lot of personal friends and also just strangers on the street. As on the hotter days, we do take them outside, just onto the local grassy areas. And people will come over and then ask if they can try and touch it and things, and we'll explain. I'll kind of talk to them like how I have done with you this evening, and just talk to them and give them general information, and again just show them how tame they are. I mean, I can do this with Bernie as well, and he doesn't mind at all. He's that tame. But yeah, and especially my mum is my best example, because my mum used to be so terrified of snakes to the point she couldn't even look at a picture of one or watch a TV show with one on it. And now she keeps 3 of her own. No, 4 now, because I've just given her one of the hatchlings today. Just through me working with them, showing her how nice they can be, through slow steps. Everyone's different, whether it takes a lot of slow steps or whether they can jump in, that's entirely up to you as an individual. But through working with someone, it is very easy for them to overcome the fear of reptiles and especially snakes. But again, that's why I'm on here. I am currently working with someone on YouNow who comes into my broadcast to slowly get over their fear because their daughter has a snake, and I'm helping them guide through best techniques to use for them and trying to help them as best I can think of to help them get over their fear, and it's an absolute joy to be able to do. So I'm sure if I had a few days to work with you, I could definitely at least change your opinion slightly. At least, get you to maybe touch on once, just for the experience.
I really wish I had a few days to give you. I mean, they're beautiful.
Sorry?
I said they are beautiful. I just... I guess it's because I didn't have them growing up, and I did have a roommate who got a, I believe it was a ball python, and it got out. And
yeah, I mean, ball pythons are extreme escape artists. They're one of the best snakes in the industry for being able to escape. They test every enclosure so thoroughly. I've actually had mine escape about 5-6 times, and they don't go too far. They always stick around. But
I would be afraid they'd get in the bed somehow. Yeah, no, can't do it. Actually, the cat found him. The cat found him.
Yeah. Can't imagine that ended too well.
Well, the cat brought the snake out to us. You know, carried it in the cat's mouth, didn't hurt it, and just dropped it in front. I'm like, get that snake, get that snake.
Wow. Definitely unusual, but it isn't unheard of that some animals can make friends. But yeah, I mean, even so, I've had both Percy sleep at the bottom of the bed and stuff. Like, he'll just curl up just like a cat on a dog would, and he stays there. He pretty much, and it varies again from snake to snake. But when I take my snakes in the bedroom, I've kind of snake-proofed my room, so I give them freedom to go wherever they want and do as they please. And more often than not, if I do fall asleep or something, I've only ever done that twice. On the one occasion I was sick, but even so, they do just either stay relatively close to you or just at the bottom of the bed or something. They want to stick to you because once they're in captivity and you're with them so long, you gain that bond and that trust. They kind of see you as their reliable source, so they understand that, okay, if I want to keep being fed and stuff, I'm going to have to stay near this. So if I don't want to be hungry, I'm going to stay.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely amazing. I don't know. There could be, but I don't know of anybody else on the platform that does this. So I think it's very unique content. And I'm sure with the amount of people that come to your streams, it's a very good education, especially for people that are afraid of them.
Oh, definitely, I agree. I always encourage people as well that if you get the opportunity, always at least try to get an experience with them. Because again, even just stroking them that once can really change your mindset and be like, oh, okay, so it's actually really cool, and it can change. I've seen it change just a lot of people in an instant like that. Some people, again, do require a lot more work and steps and things, but it is surprising to see just how much of an opinion it can change so quick, in my opinion. But I always encourage people that if you get the opportunity, please do try. Just try. You don't have to do it. I'm not ever going to push anyone to do it. I'm not that kind of person who kind of goes, come on, you can do it. If you want to, I'll encourage you all the more. But if you're too thing about it, I'll give you a little bit of a push, but I won't force you to go there.
And if people don't know, when do you broadcast?
You glitched out a little bit there.
Oh, I'm sorry. When do you actually broadcast in case somebody wants to see your broadcast?
So far, my general schedule is anytime. It's usually I try and be on time for 8 p.m. GMT, which would be 3 p.m. EST. So I generally go from either 8 or sometimes caught up in personal affairs. It will be 9, but I always make a point of broadcasting, even for at least half an hour every single day, just to give people an update on what I'm doing, like whether I'm a bit ill and need to go off early or something. I always jump on at least once, even just for about half an hour or something, just so I can stay true to my claim that I love broadcasting daily. Is always fun for me, regardless of if I've got one person to talk to or if I've got 10 or whatever the number may be. For me, it's just fun to get these out and just talk, and even just that shock factor alone, for some people it does amuse me. So yeah, again, it's just that thing for me, a pure enjoyment. And again, for me, it gives me even more of an excuse to just get the animals out and spend time with them, but also at the time be able to offer that educational kind of value I have to offer.
Very good, very good. Does anybody have any questions for Kyle? Well, I will most certainly, if anybody comes to me with any questions, I will send them your way. I have your contact information. And
yeah, absolutely. I always encourage as many questions as well in my broadcasts. I always, even if they seem totally ridiculous or silly, please, by all means, that's what I'm here for, is to answer anything. So, by any means, anyone can feel free to ask any question they like, no matter how silly they may feel about it.
Well, thank you so very, very much for coming over.
It's been a pleasure.
I
so
most
much for
certainly,
having me on.
yes, I most certainly learned something.
Well, then
I
I'm
can't
doing
get
a
over
good
how
job
big.
then.
All right. Well, have a wonderful. Huh?
I was just reading Smiling Charlie's.
Oh, yes.
It's awesome. Charlie, if you have a chance or opportunity in any kind of shop, definitely do. Even if you're not going to buy, I know some shops don't like it, but just say you want to hold it to confirm whether or not it's healthy and things, and generally, because they want to sell it to you, they will allow you to hold it and just see it visually and just touch it for you to do health checks. They can't deny you the ability to check an animal over before purchase. They cannot deny you that. Any shop that does, you don't want to be in.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you're always welcome back here. Like I said, I appreciate you coming in and teaching us some.
It's an absolute pleasure to be able to be here. Thank you so much for hosting me today. It's been an absolute honor to be on Definitive Talk.
All right. I will see you this week.
Thank you very much. Okay, no problem. I'm going to watch the rest of your broadcast now and just chill out and relax, and I'll get the snakes to bed now.
Awesome. All right. Have a great rest of your evening.
You too, and hope you have a good day. And everyone has an awesome and amazing day too.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Oh.
Bye, buddy.
Let me see. It always gives me a problem. Can you drop on your side?
Yeah, I can.
It's not letting me over here.
There we go. Okay. Bye, guys.
All right. Wow. Yeah, see, they're always really, really interesting as long as they're like over there as opposed to here, especially when they got out. But yes, if anybody does think up of any questions or anything and you are unable to go to Kyle's stream, just let me know and I will most certainly get those questions to him. All right. 6 o'clock, and so our next guest is a producer, and I think an amazing broadcaster. His name is Smilin' Charlie, and he was one of the people that I had on the list, and I was happy actually that the person that was scheduled didn't show. I think Smilin' Charlie is really, really nice and works very hard. So let's bring him in. Let me see. No, it's not letting me. Smilin' Charlie, can you get into the guest queue? It's not letting me pull you over. Sometimes the it says I am in. I will go out. Yeah, go in and come back out. Sometimes it's a little fussy. Okay. Alright, let's try. I do not see you in there. Why is it not? Let me check this. Can you refresh? Can you refresh and come back in? It's not showing you in the guest queue on my end. Everybody that comes every week, you know there's always some technical difficulty. It wouldn't be the same if it didn't happen. So next week, while we're waiting, next week I do have one person confirmed. It's not letting me force guest you. And I don't... Can you hop in the guest queue? The only other option is to shut down the app and then come back in and try it. Let me try to... Okay, you're in the guest queue. Yeah, it's not showing you in the guest queue. So, actually go out of the app, shut the app completely down, and let's come in and we'll try that. I hope it works. I hope it works. So next week we are more than likely going to be having a singer on. We're just waiting for confirmation. How about now? Let me ask you this. Smiling Charlie, are you on your phone? Are you on your phone, Smiling Charlie? You're on your computer? Oh, you're very welcome, Kyle. You're very, very welcome. And you left the app, closed it completely out, and then restarted it? Are you on browser or on the desktop? Okay. Yeah, so next week, we will probably, I'm hoping very much so, she said she couldn't be here this week, so probably next week. Erica McKenzie, if you've not heard her, she's got an amazing voice, a beautiful voice, so, yeah, she's going to come in and sing for us. Very talented. You guys really liked when Adam was here, Adam Thomas Heap, and if you did not get to see him, I didn't even know he had such an amazing voice like that. If you didn't get to see it, you can go to my YouTube channel, and the whole thing is there. Okay, let's try. I saw you come back in. Why isn't it? I don't understand why it won't do it. Okay, I do not know why it's not letting me guess you. Even your profile is completely blank with no writing on it. Oh, wait a minute, you're in the guest queue now. No, it's not showing you there, though. Well, I apologize, everyone. I don't know why this is not allowing me to pull Smiling Charlie in. Yeah, there is... I wouldn't even know if it's my end or his end. Let me try one other thing. Alright. Yes, I apologize, everyone. We'll have to reschedule Smiling Charlie. Yeah, nothing is showing up for your... Let me check somebody else just to verify. Yeah, see, everybody else, when I click on theirs, their profile shows complete, but yours is actually all white. So we will have to reschedule. I do apologize, everybody. Try it now. Okay, hold on. Yeah. I mean, you have the green button, but it just won't let me... Nothing happens when I click on it. Oh, well. Yeah, we'll have to reschedule you. I do apologize, everybody. I would think that it would not be normal if we were able to have a broadcast without any problems. Tried this other... Hold on. Yeah, it's not letting me. I do not know why. Yeah, I'm not sure as well. I know that people have been complaining there's been a lot more glitches, but clearly I pulled in Kyle without any issue, and like I said, your profile is completely blank, but everybody else is regular. Okay, well, we will reschedule Smiling Charlie because I do want you to meet him. He is a really, really cool person, and I don't know why. Alright, well, I do apologize again. I will keep all of my questions that I have for you, and we'll have Kelly call you or text you and pick a day that's good for you, or a week I should say that's good for you. Maybe even next week if that works for you. Alright, so everybody, thank you so very much for coming on in tonight. Thank you, Kyle, for bringing in your snakes to show us and get us a little bit more acquainted with that type of an animal, and for people that would want to have something like that as a pet. So, and we'll definitely have him back on and go from there. So I thank you guys. I will see everybody tomorrow, and hopefully everything will be good tomorrow. It was a pleasure, Kyle. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So until tomorrow, guys, have an amazing rest of your evening, and thank you again for being here. Bye, guys.